The following is an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.
Hello everybody and welcome to Indian Cooking with Vinu. I'm Vinu and today I'm going to show you how to make appam and fish molly. Appams are bowl-shaped rice pancakes made of fermented rice batter. People in Kerala call it appam, and people in Tamil Nadu, which is another province in India, call it appam, and in the country of Sri Lanka they call it hoppers. And let's go on to the ingredients required to make appam. Basmati rice or long-grained white rice, 2 cups, instant yeast, 2 teaspoons, sugar, 2 teaspoons, medium unsweetened coconut, 1/4 cup, cooked white rice, 1/2 cup, and water. Appams are usually served with a spicy side dish such as a chicken curry, vegetable curry, or any kind of curry. And now we can start making our batter for the appams. So I have 2 cups of basmati rice here, which I have soaked overnight, or you need to soak it for at least 6 hours. Only then it will grind well. That's why we are soaking it, so that it grinds really well, or it's really hard to grind otherwise. So I'm going to add it into my blender jar here. Going to pour off some of the water in here. All right, so I've added the rice here. Now I'm using instant yeast. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of instant yeast into this. That's for the fermentation. Two teaspoons of sugar. One-fourth cup of unsweetened medium coconut. And 1/2 cup of cooked rice. I have cooked white rice, the same basmati rice separately, and that makes it spongy. So you need to add the cooked rice and salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Going to add some water into this, just enough to make a smooth batter. Close it out. Let's grind this out in a blender. So it took around 5 minutes for grinding up this batter here, and so this is the consistency that we're looking for. It's a nice smooth batter, and it's okay if you find like a little bit of granules in it, that if it's not really finely ground, it's still okay. Now I'm going to transfer this into a big bowl, because when it ferments, it's going to rise in quantity, so you don't want it to overflow. That's why we are using a big bowl. So use any wide mouth big bowl. So after transferring everything into that, you can just leave it aside to ferment for around 6 hours. So I have prepared the batter in advance, and it's been fermented already. So we have our fermented batter here, which I prepared in advance, and you can see that it's thick after fermentation. So you can add a little more water and make it thin. So that's what I mentioned, when you make the batter, it doesn't matter if you add more water to it, because we are going to make it a thin batter anyway. So appams derive their bowl shape from the vessel in which it's cooked, and it's the vessel which I have here, which has the lid and the vessels here. Traditionally this vessel is a little heavier, and this is the modern version, which is like a non-stick modern version here. And usually to make an appam I need a flame, because since it's curved, it doesn't cook on the edges. So I just wanted to show you how this is how it's cooked traditionally, but when I'm going to cook it now, I'm going to use a flat griddle instead. The taste is the same, just that the shape is a little different. Now we want to eat the appams really hot, so it's better to make it towards the end. So in the meantime, we can start cooking our fish molly. So fish molly is a traditional fish recipe that is made by Christians in Kerala. And let's go on to the ingredients required to make fish molly. Fish, 1/2 kilogram. Black pepper powder, 1/2 teaspoon. Turmeric powder, 1/4 teaspoon. Salt to taste. Onions, 1 sliced lengthwise. Green chilies, 8 of Indian variety that's slit. Ginger, 1-inch piece crushed. Garlic, 8 cloves crushed. Cornstarch, 1 teaspoon. Thin coconut milk, 1 cup. Thick coconut milk, 1/2 cup. Curry leaves, 1 sprig, and cilantro, 1 sprig. So I have basa fillets here. So these were frozen. I defrosted them and cut it up into smaller pieces, and now we can marinate them. For that, I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper powder, and salt, around half a teaspoon. Just marinate them well with your hands. Be a little gentle with the fish, because it's easily breaks into smaller pieces. So we are using turmeric in the marination. Turmeric is really good for our health. It acts as a digestive aid, and it reduces cholesterol in the body, and it's also an antioxidant, and it improves liver function. And traditionally in India, girls usually mix gram flour and turmeric powder, make it into a nice batter, and apply it on the skin before bath, and which results in glowing skin. So it's really good for the skin as well. So I've finished marinating the fish. Now I'll leave this for 1 hour. So it's only then all the spices will get absorbed in it. So we're going to set that aside for 1 hour. And I have pre-marinated my basa here. So these have been marinated for around 2 hours. We are going to shallow fry the marinated fish, and for that we can heat oil in a pan. So I have some oil in there already. I'm just going to try the wrong one. Heat it up. Fish is a great addition to a healthy diet because it's generally low in fat and it's a great protein option. So a single 150 grams of serving of fish provides about 50 to 60% of protein needs of an adult. So that's why it becomes a great protein option. And it's also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which is proved to be really good for the heart. The oil has heated up and I'm going to add the fish into it. Just space it enough so that it doesn't stick to each other. So we want all the fishes touching the oil. So and we can also start heating up the oil for the curry, that is the fish molly that we are going to make. Let's heat oil in the pan. And while the oil is heating up, we can go for a quick break and we'll be right back and continue with our cooking.
You're watching an independently produced community access program. The viewpoints expressed are those of the community access producer and do not reflect those of Shaw Cable Systems. The program is presented in response to CRTC policy guidelines regulating community programming.
Welcome back to Indian Cooking with Vinu. Now the oil is hot and we can add sliced onions to it. I've sliced it lengthwise. That's one onion here. And I'm going to add it to this. Mix it well. The addition of salt to the onions brings out the moisture from the onions and lets it cook faster. So you can always add a little bit of salt to speed up the process. And while the onions are cooking there, I'm going to gently turn the fish to the other side so that the other side also gets cooked.